I'm just outside of Radium Hotsprings, BC, cooking up a flatbread pizza, standing high above the Columbia River and the Columbia River Wetlands. And let me tell you what, it looks absolutely beautiful down there. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take that canoe off the roof, and we're gonna put it in that water first thing tomorrow morning, and we're canoeing Invermere to Radium, so let's go. Well, good morning. So I'm out here. I'm gonna go canoe the Columbia River and the Columbia Wetlands from Invermere to Radium. I'm currently in Radium. I just parked and I got my bike ready to go. I am at the Forester's Landing Bridge. This is my end point, but to get to my starting point, I have to get on my bike. I'm gonna have to ride, it says 15 minutes, but it's all uphill. So hopefully I get there on time, but I'm headed towards downtown to catch the city bus. I've allotted myself about 35 minutes, so hopefully it doesn't take that long, but I have a little bit of what I believe is a cushion. So anyways, I'm gonna get on my bike from Forester's Landing to the city bus to get down to Invermere to James Chabot Provincial Park, where I have stashed my canoe and all my gear. Well, I'm gonna cut myself off there because James Chabot, in fact, is actually an NHL player. And while he's probably a nice guy, he has absolutely nothing to do with what I am doing today. I am actually on my bike, heading towards downtown Radium to catch the city bus to James Chabot Provincial Park. And I do promise that this is in fact a canoeing video, but since I am traveling solo on my 2-month adventure van life road trip, please check out all my other videos, like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at @sarginc. The logistics behind a one-way river paddle are all part of the adventure and pretty interesting themselves. Pretty wild. Okay, I gotta focus. Fogged up a little bit. So much I'm breathing heavy. Anyways, let's tackle the rest of this hill. And tackle the rest of the hill I did, slowly but surely, picking my way to the top. And then eventually, I get into downtown Radium, where I lock my bike up, get on the city bus, and head down towards Invermere to meet up with my canoe. Okay, so I officially got dropped off by the bus, right by the A&W, which ironically is right where I slept last night, because the A&W is behind me. And if you look up here, this white truck is essentially where I parked my van last night. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, I'm just walking. There's a 4-minute walk, I think, from the bus stop to James Chabot Provincial Park Beach, where my canoe is stashed. So hopefully it's all there. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. The bus is easy, costs $2. And sun's coming out, so I think today is gonna be a good day. And how could it not be a good day in a picturesque setting like this? Even with a foggy lens, Lake Windermere is absolutely stunning. Situated just downstream of Columbia Lake and the headwaters of the Columbia River. Spoiler alert, be sure to check out next week's episode where I van life in search of the headwaters of the Columbia. Anyways, Lake Windermere is nestled between the Rocky Mountains to the east and the Purcell Mountains to the west. From here, the river flows northwest towards Golden before making a near 90-degree bend at Kinabasset Lake and beginning its long journey to the United States. The Columbia River eventually empties into the Pacific Ocean at Astoria, Oregon, some 2,000 kilometers from its headwaters here in the Columbia Valley. And not only is Lake Windermere a great place to start a canoe trip, it's also a great place just to hang out and have a beach day. And in the winter, it also transforms into the world's largest skating trail.
which is pretty cool. Now let's get out on the water.
Okay, so I am out in Lake Windermere proper, and we're about to actually start now. I got my Peak Refuel breakfast on the go. It's the between the legs, so I'm gonna eat as I go. But with that being said, if you look over here, you can see some buoys. That's the start of the river section. So the water is flowing this way, the direction I'm going. I don't expect it to be a lot, but hopefully it helps us push a little bit. I do feel a bit of a breeze, which I believe is coming from, it's gonna be a headwind. So that might counteract any sort of current. But with that being said, yeah, there's nothing to do but start. So I'm excited. Eat some breakfast and let's go. I'm eating good. I just passed on the bridge. I'm now on the Columbia River proper. So that's pretty cool. That's gonna be good. Yeah, can't wait. It looks beautiful already. Scenery's nice. I don't really know what else to say. There's another safari. Oh, that's an Astro van, I should say, out there. Anyways, that being said, I'm canoeing the Columbia River Wetlands. Couldn't be happier. Let's go.
It doesn't take long for this river section to open up and unfurl its true beauty. This area is part of the Columbia Wetlands, which is part of the largest protected intact wetlands in North America. There's over 15,000 hectares of protected wetlands in the Columbia watershed, and this is only a small part of that. You can really see the thriving plant life in the shallows, which provide great habitat for many animals big and small, from fish to birds to large fauna like moose and grizzly bears. These wetlands are a critical piece of the biodiversity that calls British Columbia home. I feel lucky to be here, and I'm thankful for the protections afforded to these beautiful places. And it inspires me to be a good steward of the land moving forward. To tread lightly, leave no trace, so these protected areas can stay pristine for generations to come.
So I pulled up just on the side of the beach here, and I found something. I found an official Canadian geocache, which I think is kind of cool. I just found it. I was not searching, but I'm gonna look in it. What do we got in here? Well, we got a logbook, 2015, 2017, 2020, 2021. Well, I'm here on, what's the date today? September 14th, 2023. I do not have a writing utensil, so I cannot write that. Oh, I can't write that down. Oh, the pen still works. Cool. Well, I'll fill out that logbook. And I'll look in here. We got some gloves, which is kind of alarming. What do we got here? Got an empty shotgun shell, golf ball, another golf ball, a little teddy, pencil, bobber, a band-aid, I think this might be a stamp. Boop. Little reindeer stamp, shell, little pill, a bed, Scotty burger, and I believe that's an Australian flag. So somebody from Australia was here, which is pretty cool. Anyways, I'm gonna put this back, sign the logbook, and we'll get back to paddling. is I have not gone very far. I've just been taking in the views, looking at the fish, and finding geocaches. So I just passed a sign that said we're coming to the end of the Athalmer Wetland zone. So I actually think this is gonna river up a bit. It might get a little bit deeper and there'll be less, I don't know, weeds on the ground. I think it might clear up, who knows? I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what the sign said.
Pretty quickly, the plants on the riverbed began to disappear. The water became more shallow. The channel began to narrow. And eventually the sediment-filled waters of what I believe to be Toby Creek began to flow into the Columbia River, putting on an absolutely dazzling show. And from here on out, there was no more crystal clear water. The sediment was here to stay, but I ain't complaining.
So out here, the beach is pretty muddy. If there's another sandy spot, I wouldn't mind stopping, but I'm just gonna dip into this. I got an egg salad sandwich from, I think it was a Sobeys in Invermere. So I'm just gonna dip into this, eat on the go. I was getting pretty hungry because it is like, I think it's about 1, a little after now. Very mediocre lunch, but it'll do. Very mediocre lunch, but like I said, it'll do. So you can see the railway right behind me. I really think it would be pretty badass if a train were to come by, but I've been out here for a few hours now and I've yet to hear a train. But I did see one yesterday while I was cooking my pizza. So fingers crossed that really make this video, in my opinion, if I saw a nice train. But anyways, that's the railway, just above the river. Well, that's pretty cool. I think I've gone like 8K now, so I'm probably over halfway. But it's also getting hot, but I don't really want to ditch this sweater. I'm also feel like I'm probably gonna get sunburnt, but I packed sunscreen, but I don't want to deal with it. So we're just living on the edge, I guess. But anyways, we're gonna continue. This is a nice section of water. It's moving quickly. I wish it was clear like it was at the beginning, but can't have it all. Anyways, whatever. Let's get going. it's getting pretty hot. So I definitely have to lose this hoodie. Oh yeah. I kind of want to get crazy and take my shirt off, but I feel like that's a foolish decision. So, you know what, fuck it. We're going. Okay, let's go. Coming up to another confluence, a little river, creek, I'm not sure, could just be the same one flowing into each other. You can see the colors and the current. That's pretty cool. That's rad. I will acknowledge that it was too cold with no shirt.
And then as I continued down the river, out in the distance I could hear a low rumble. So eventually I pulled over to the side, and that train I was hoping to see came into view.
Well, I'm just having my final snack here. I got a Cliff Bar Builder Bar, and the only reason I'm talking about it is I heard that BioSteel went into bankruptcy today. So it's the news of the day. BioSteel bankrupt. RIP. I like them. Canadian company. I don't know if this means the end, but RIP to BioSteel. I'm gonna miss you.
And as I mourn the loss of BioSteel, it's also time to acknowledge that my time on the river is almost up too. I traveled 18 kilometers on the Columbia today, but that's not nearly enough. I can't be sad that it's done. I am happy that I came. What started as a roadside pizza turned into one of the highlights of my trip. At this point, I've spent over 40 days alone. I've been sick. I've been tired, but being able to do what I love best, solo canoeing through an absolutely spectacular landscape, leaves me feeling fulfilled, recharged, re-energized, and ready to continue on with my journey, because I ain't ready to go home yet.
So I have run aground. I was just staring at the mountains over here in a daze, and there's a sandbar right here, and it is shallow. So I ran aground totally unexpectedly. Anyways, I gotta focus again, refocus, and then go. I think we're getting pretty close to Radium, honestly, as that all was like the highway's all above that. That's where I had my pizza dinner last night. So yeah, I really think I'm getting pretty close to Radium, which means not very far from the van. So whatever, I'll keep going.
And as we cross under the final bridge, that brings a close to this chapter. So we bring it home into the beach, but to the victor goes the spoils. So I'm headed to the Radium Hotsprings pool tonight to soak my life away and enjoy every last minute I got here. Peace.